love our wandering in our high places. Vital mountain air charging muscles and driving the heart. The long trail in the delicate land above treeline crosses the first portal of Iztaccíhuatl, and the warrior mountain Popocatépetl comes into view. Iztaccíhuatl is a princess who died for love of Popocatépetl, and he rains fire in his rage for the loss of his beloved. The trail climbs up the gnarled shoulder of the mountain to high camp on a ridge. A mile into the morning, and the world changes again. By noon, we've reached the summit at 5,230 meters, 17,158 feet above sea level. The trek that leads us here, the beauty, the exhaustion, the long slog down, all expected, all part of the grand climbing experience. In many mountainous regions of the world, the adventure sometimes leads us to the less expected, to sights and experiences we don't anticipate. Where we expect solitude, we find cultivated fields, mountain homes, villages, a culture of mountain people who have farmed and hunted and gathered here for generations.
Look at this. This is a long sleeve.
For some who are especially receptive, observant, and open, these people are as rich a discovery as the summit. The climbers are drawn in, curious and driven to know them better, perhaps harboring a secret wish that they too could be so at home in this landscape.
People who spend time in the mountains have a spirit of, I guess I have to say, a spirit of God, of kindness in their heart, and want to do good, or try to do good, for others around us.
For John Markowitz, the seed was planted during his first trip to Mexico, when he and a friend came to assist in flood relief and to climb mountains.
And collectively, there was an earthy smell to the moment. And I'll never forget that. But then we traveled here to La Chichuca and met the people, the guides, the Reyes family, the children at the elementary school, and was touched once again by their happiness and their kindness, their gentleness.
La Chichuca is a town near the base of Pico de Orizaba, the highest volcano in Mexico, and it is the home base for Servimont, a guide service operated for 2 generations of the Reyes family. La Chichuca opened its doors to the American climbers.
We had a presentation by the children at the elementary school in 1999 when we made our first trip to Pico de Orizaba. And the children were just so alive, so beautiful in their costumes. Their happiness to share their culture with us.
John was drawn by these people and their culture, and he was moved by their needs. Gerardo Reyes, Servimont's director, helped show John where his urge to help could do the most good. Gerardo is also a physician and surgeon, well known in this region for his emergency medical assistance to the local citizens and to climbers.
The Red Cross take notice that each time there was an accident, we were already there helping, and sometimes even already take care of the problem. So the Red Cross say, well, you are close, you are fast, you have trained people. We adopted as a mountain rescue unit for the Red Cross, and that's the way I get involved with the Red Cross.
He calls me over and he shows me this letter He says they made me the director of the Red Cross, the Cruz Roja Mexicana, here for my people. They give me no money, no ambulancia, and no personnel. I'm thinking I can't do anything. And later, we come to what is sitting behind us, and it's a wonderful story.
John, I don't know if you heard the IV. She's got a 14 in her right hand. Attached to a
Okay,
leader.
14.
Back in the States, John continued to think of Dr. Rayau's plight. John works in an emergency department at a major medical center in rural New Hampshire. He understood what an ambulance would mean to La Chichuca and the surrounding villages, and for the mountaineers who climb Pico de Orizaba.
And I was making a small wooden ambulance for Dr. Rayau's. I thought it was a neat way of saying to Dr. Rayau's, I know your plight, I wish I could do something. Well, I can make this little wooden ambulance and send it to you as a gift. And it would be kind of cute. And as I was working in the wood shop, freezing my fingers and working on this little ambulance, I started thinking, well, would it ever be possible to provide an ambulance for the community in La Chichuca?
John began thinking about organizing a trip to bring 20 U.S. climbers into Mexico, charging each $250 over the cost of the trip, and using that money to begin to pay for an ambulance.
I started thinking, well, maybe I could do something, and was looking around for a vehicle, and we happened to find this vehicle in Arizona. And there was a price on it, $4,000. And lo and behold, I was able to pull together a group of actually 16 people who would support the project, and actually 12 came to Mexico to climb. So all of a sudden, I was doing the project and started raising money, and we actually bought the ambulance sight unseen.
That was the origin of the project, really. A climber and me, a climber and a service provider who could see that something has to be done to help someone who is injured or sick in the mountain. This was done by you, and we never think that this toy will be real.
It becomes a big ambulance for
And
real.
now it's real, it will work, and I hope it will help the community, the climbers. We have a beautiful and big volcano here at only 20 miles from here, who is called Citlaltépetl, or known internationally as Pico de Orizaba. So it receives climbers of around the world and from Mexico. So if there is an emergency, this project includes the assistance of this unit to help any climber who may be in problems in the mountain. That's a heater for the defrost. I add this dashboard to protect, so you can put things here without destroying.
What a beautiful job.
Yes,
The ambulance will serve sick and injured mountaineers, but in the main, it will be used to transport local people who live in mountain villages and farms located far from paved roads. Servimont typically negotiates these roads in their old power wagons, but these are not well suited for moving patients. The Unimog is ideal for these conditions.
It's a type of vehicle that fits the needs of the area. See, La Chichuca is at the end of the paved roads. And beyond La Chichuca, when you start out here going toward Piedra Grande, the roads end and it becomes dirt, gravel, and wash roads through the forest and up to the high terrain. Villages like Hidalgo sit up there. They have emergency needs, and this vehicle needs to be able to have a high ground clearance and ability to go in all different weather under all different conditions, including snow. This vehicle can go in water probably, I believe, about 24 inches, perhaps, up to the doors.
This vehicle was old, used from the German army time ago, and now it was in private hands in the United States. The ambulance is the first part of any first aid maneuver. If you don't have a vehicle to go to where the disaster or the accident happened, then you don't have anything.
Okay? And you can tell everybody what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay?
The work of the Mex Ambulance project grew beyond the task of converting a 1960 Unimog into a backcountry ambulance. The project has purchased computers for a school in La Chuchuca and pays for an internet connection. The students use it for internet research and to exchange messages with their sister school in New Jersey.
So I asked Dr. Reyes, Geraldo, what do your people most need? And his answer was education.
Beyond the town of La Chuchuca, the work of the Mex Ambulance project extends to outlying villages.
¿Cómo está? Nice to see you. You okay? On the way to Piedra Grande, the starting point for our climb up Pico de Orizaba, the village of Hidalgo, you see the poverty. You see people that are living very, very poorly. Knowing how we as U.S. Citizens have so much, we're so gifted, we're so fortunate.
Carollo was born with 2 thumbs on his right hand. The Mex Ambulance project helped arrange hand surgery to fix that.
And do you have movement?
Que si tienes movimiento.
As part of their luggage allowance, climbers traveling with John bring solar ovens into Mexico.
You're smart.
Vamos a la casa.
In villages like Hidalgo, using the sun to cook instead of firewood helps preserve the native forests.
Ahí cocina papá.
Ahí las cociné.
¿Esas?
Ajá.
Ahí cocinó las papas. She cooked this at the solar oven.
Ay, gracias.
Traducción
Sí.
para escribirlo en español.
Okay. Sí. See if you have. If you have. Very, very good.
And the savings on propane, a major expense for villagers, is remarkable.
Sí. ¿Cuánto tiempo le duraba antes el tanque?
3 meses, 2.
2 or 3 months and the gas was finished. And now with the solar oven, the gas tank lasts for 8 months. We use less wood, less money in the gas. He works on harvesting these potatoes.
For Carlos, who earns his living tending potato fields for a landowner, the savings is a blessing.
I don't know if this one works.
John's colleagues at the medical center in New Hampshire knit clothing for the village children, and knitting companies donate hats.
Good? You like color? Okay. Good.
Gracias.
Help in any country has no frontiers. You may need help in any place of the world. If it is someone who wants to help, is well received.
Hola,
Miguel,
Miguel.
nice to meet you.
Julio.
Julio,
A touch of nature makes the whole world kin. The mountains of Mexico have nurtured a kinship that began with one climber and his host. The Mex Ambulance project they started has brought a generous portion of benefit to the people of La Chuchuca and Hidalgo. Tools that help the people of these mountain communities improve their lot without intruding on their culture.
I had met them at a grassroots level and got to see them and appreciate them and fall in love with them and their country. This is their home and they're sharing it with us. When they share that in the way that they do, I think we're obligated in some way to contribute back.
Fruta. ¿Qué es esto?